All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It's Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there. And me. Okay, so Blue Oyster Cult, that is the topic. Blue Oyster Cult. The abuse, the incredible amount of just neglect, the war on Blue Oyster Cult as a band. Yes, American radio plays two songs primarily by Blue Oyster Cult, and really good station might play three. The two, of course, would be Burnin' For You and Don't Fear the Reaper, and once in a great while, I might hear Godzilla. I might. Okay? This band has been around since 1972, based in Long Island. They're kind of a dark, sort of spooky, a little on the sci-fi, spacey kind of thing, astronomy. I mean, if you know their history, you know they took a lot of book writers, sort of sci-fi and horror kind of themes, and mix them in. So they're not like the light and fluffy happy band, okay? They don't typically write poppy songs, but they do have some music that I would consider to be top 40 oriented, even though at this stage it just doesn't really matter. But their first album, Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll, okay? A riff that Richie Blackmore probably wants back. Just a killer riff, killer intro to a song, and totally fills your headphones with sonic bliss. Okay? Hot Rails to Hell, Career of Evil, just the Secret Treaties album in general. Go back and listen to it. It's ear candy. It's all 70s ear candy, but this is a hard rocking band. If you remember the Black and Blue tours, Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, Black and Blue. They were always on tour, and it was a ticket you had to get. It was one of those things, and they did it, I think, right until like the early 80s. This live album comes out. It's called On Your Feet or On Your Knees. It's one of my secret sort of closet type pleasures. This album, I don't know if it's just the recording quality or the mix of different venues that are on this thing, but even if you don't like the songs on it, the songs sound so good. And you get Blue Oyster Cult doing their version of Born to Be Wild, and they kill it. They've got this guy on guitar. I don't know if you know his name, Buck Dharma. He's a good guitar player. And he had a solo album, by the way, called Flat Out, which flat out kicks butt. Okay, so you got to go find that too. Agents of Fortune. There you go. The one with Don't Fear the Reaper, but Summer of Love. All right, this ain't the Summer of Love, and also was it Debbie Denise is on there. I mean, there are a bunch of good songs on that particular album, and that more or less broke the band to a much larger audience, although the On Your Feet live album, I believe, sold almost 1 million copies or maybe more by now, which freaked out the record label, if I remember the stories. Because then comes Spectres, and you've got Godzilla going through the motions, and the brilliant I Love the Night. I mean, talk about a nighttime driving song with a guitar part that is going to stick in your brain. It's just off the charts good. So the record label, cashing in, puts out Some Enchanted Evening, another live album. It's a short album, by the way. I wish there was more to it. I believe it was 2007. They reissued the album with way more songs on it, so that was my only complaint. The mastering and the sound quality is fantastic. This is a really good live band. Even today, by the way, they're still out there performing. It's just a shame that people don't even know. Mirrors is terrific and You're Not the Only One. And then my favorite album title, one of them of all time, Cultosaurus Erectus comes out with Marshall Plan and Deadline. You've got to go listen to Deadline. Deadline was all over stations that I used to listen to, and it's got this acoustic guitar thing. It's almost like a power acoustic guitar song. And these big sort of, I call them almost like speed bump riffs in the song. You got to listen to it. It's just great. Black Blade is also on there, another thing that Richie Blackmore might want to listen to. Fire of Unknown Origin. that's the big one, kind of, in a sense, because you've got Burnin' For You, Veteran of the Psychic Wars, which doesn't get played, the title track, and this tune called Soul Survivor that I used to play over and over again because I had it on cassette. If we're going in order, you've got to look at Revolution by Night, where you get this. The drummer had just gotten fired, so they used a lot of drum machines and different things on this album, and some people who are purists didn't like it. Melodically speaking, you've got kick butt tunes, though, like Take Me Away, and then this brilliant sort of landscapey Shooting Shark, which, by the way, did get onto top 40 a little bit. So good for them at the time. It's a great album, and nobody plays either one of those tunes. Club Ninja comes next, and believe it or not, Club Ninja actually has Blue Oyster Cult's highest charting song ever on mainstream rock stations, which is kind of weird when you think of the other aforementioned quote-unquote big hits. A tune called Dancin' in the Ruins, which does kind of remind me of stuff off of Fire of Unknown Origin. Production is a bit different on this album. There's a tune I think called Perfect Water, which is really good. There are a bunch of tunes on that album that's very listenable, and kind of tanked after that song came out. And then they took a bit of a hiatus, came back with kind of repackaged versions of some of their tunes on Imaginos, and some new tracks. We used to play Astronomy back when I was on the rock station. This was 88 or 89. And then pretty much the band went away. They came back like 10 years later, released an album. And by the way, the two albums after Imaginos are very good, especially the one in 2001 that they released. Terrific music. They've been on tour off and on for pretty much the whole time. I know here and there in a festival environment they do hook up with former label mates like Eddie Money. It's just a tragedy, though, that rock stations and rock consumers, for the most part, have forgotten about Blue Oyster Cult. Eric Bloom, Buck Dharma, the Flat Out album I talked about. I went out and bought that. There's a tune on there called Born to Rock. I'm talking too much, and I'm talking too fast because I'm trying to get this all in. All I know is there's a huge war on Blue Oyster Cult. They are way more than just two songs. And yes, they deserve the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't see why they wouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were experimental. They were great musicians. Their writing was very unique. It was dark, which you think would appeal to the Hall of Fame, but I don't know what they want. Black Sabbath is in, right? So Blue Oyster Cult, they should be in. All right, so that's my video on Blue Oyster Cult. Hopefully the war ends at this video, and you'll go out and listen and buy their music and support them as they tour across the country, even today. Check out their concert dates, their website, blueoystercult.com. I'm Dave, and I'll be back with more real music in real time for real people just like you, just like me. We'll do it again real soon.